So now y'all come into my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. Glad you're here. I hope that everybody had a good Thanksgiving. Are you still full? Oh my goodness, isn't the eating at Thanksgiving just the best? Did anybody make the corn or the sweet potatoes that we filmed? I hope you did. I hope you tried them. If you didn't, then you can still make them for the holiday season coming up for Christmas. Today, we are actually making two kind of old school, kind of cliche, I guess you could say, party foods. But we're going to amp them up a little bit and make them extra delicious and zhuzh them so that they're really fun so that you can take them to parties and get-togethers and your office event and put them out on your island and your table for your company. So our old-fashioned party foods that we're going to fancy up today is a cheese ball. I know, a cheese ball. Doesn't it just sound so kind of 1980s? It does, doesn't it? But this one is so good. It's got bacon, and everybody went wild. We're going to do some chives and some green onions and some good flavorings and do pecans. There is just something about it. Y'all, it's delicious. It's my sister-in-law's recipe. And we're going to do sausage balls. I know, sausage balls, everybody loves them. And if you say that you don't, I'm going to call you a liar because everyone loves a sausage ball. I know it. And we're going to zhuzh those up a little bit with some really good ingredients. Cream cheese. I know, cream cheese is not always in them. And then with our sausage balls, we're going to make a Jezebel sauce that is sweet and peppery, and it's just really, really good with that kind of good, greasy, crispy, crunchy, rich sausage ball. So we've got some really great flavors that we're going to do. And we're going to make little toasts. And this is one of my kind of basic, classic recipes that I feel like you could have for any time of the year, even your game watching. You know, we're late season football. But this is a really great little recipe because they're kind of like crostini. They are crostini, but I call them little toasts. They're really, really easy to make. You can store them for about a week or so in a bag or some kind of an airtight container. And then you can pull them out for all kinds of dips. You know, we've made party dips here before, and I have dips in my cookbook that's out. We'll talk about that in a minute. And these are just really pretty, and they're fancy, and you can kind of just be proud that you made them instead of going and buying them. And so we're going to make these first before we get to our cheese ball and our sausage balls. We're going to let these be cooking. And then you're going to have a couple of really good little recipes for your arsenal for your holiday parties. So, oh, that one's a little thin. I'll just nibble that one. Okay. What we have, well, let me say this. What I have today are two of these like sourdough baguettes. I generally like to get, there's a really long, skinny, one single long, skinny, it's almost like a baseball bat, baguette that you can get at your grocery. I usually get that one. Either way, it doesn't really matter. There's not an official measurement for, you know, the size of this bread. You may just want to do whatever you can fit on your sheet pan. But I do like to get like a sourdough. She's got a little bit of a tang in it that's delicious with your dips, and it's hearty. You don't want to do this with just like a regular French loaf. It's not going to have it's not going to be able to hold up to what we're about to do to them, which is, let's see if I can fit them on my pan here. We are going to brush them with olive oil on both sides, and then we're going to sprinkle a little seasoning blend on top of them and bake them. And then they get really crisp and delicious, like a cracker, but it's like a bread cracker. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to do about this many. That one's got a big gaping hole, so we'll dip that one and eat that one in a little bit. So that's good for now. Well, no, that's not true. I can't stand to leave this space. We've got to have a lot of party crackers, don't we? These little toasts are just delicious, y'all. Okay, that's good enough. Now, what we want to do with these is brush them each with olive oil. We'll do that in a minute, but let's get to our little seasoning blend that we're going to do first. This is so simple. Half of a teaspoon of salt, It's all half teaspoons, okay? So that makes it easy. Half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper. I'm gonna eyeball because it's just a little shake on it, doesn't really matter. A little salt, a little pepper, a little garlic, a little paprika for kind of smokiness and color. And then I have some dried oregano. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with my dried oregano real quick. We want to rub this, let's see, do my little half teaspoon here. You know, it's real leafy, so I like to measure out my half teaspoon, and I like to rub it together in my fingers to kind of powder it up a little bit. It's really simple. So, are you ready for this? We're going to brush both sides of our little toasts with olive oil. Do a little sprinkle of this on both sides of our little seasoning blend and bake them for 12 minutes. Isn't that easy? 12 minutes on one side, turn them over, bake them 12 minutes on the other side, and then we're gonna have delicious little toasts. We're gonna doctor these up. When we come back, we're gonna start on all of our cream cheese. It's like a cream cheese fest here today. Come back and join us. This is Cooking Today. Welcome back to Cooking Today. If you're just joining us, we are making holiday party foods. Not just any, but kind of some classic ones, but we're really amping up the flavor and making them delicious. Starting with some crackers. You know, we always have to have some crackers to put out with our dips, don't we, for the holiday season? But we're making little toasts. And so we just cut some sourdough loaves really thin, about 1/4 inch thin, and then laid them out, brushed them with olive oil and a little seasoning mix, and we're toasting those in the oven. We've already done the first few minutes on one side, and then I flipped them, and we're letting them continue to get nice and toasty and crunchy. They are so delicious. We're just gonna let them cool. We're gonna zip top them and keep them nice and airtight, and we'll put them out with all of our dips through, you know, a week or so of our holiday parties. They're delish. Then we're making a cheese ball. Now this is my sister-in-law Lori's recipe. She's had this recipe since I've known her for 20 years. And she always shows up with this specific cheese ball at all of our holiday parties. And what is so great is it makes 2. And I know for a fact, Lori, that you show up with one and y'all keep the other one. I know that. I know that because the recipe makes 2 and you're always only showing up with one. So I don't blame you. You can be selfish with one and share one, right? So let me show you. This is really fun. We haven't talked about this yet, but that's me. My cookbook is out. Came out in mid-November, and this cheese ball is right here. Isn't that so fun? So not only today am I cooking or making this cheese ball and the little toasts and our yummy sausage balls, but I'm referring to my own cookbook, and that is kind of a little bit out of body, and it's really, really fun. So there's our pretty cheese ball. And I'll show you this too real quick before we get stirring because, you know, because I'm excited. Look, little toasts. Isn't that so fun? Y'all, I'm so tickled. So a lot of the recipes that we've made on this show are all in this book. And then there's a whole bunch of new ones too, plus stories and tips for hosting and for making and sharing food. And so anyway, love, welcome, serve. That's my heart. So anyway, we're making our cheese ball that is in the cookbook. Now, all it takes, 3 packages of cream cheese softened. And listen to me. When I say softened, I mean softened like overnight on your counter, okay? Not softened like 20 minutes. You really, really, really want this to be nice and soft and creamy and completely room temperature so that you can mix it in well. Otherwise, if it's, you know, firm and not completely room temp, then you're gonna have clumps, and you want all your ingredients to really mix in and incorporate really well, okay? So these have been sitting out overnight. Then what we have is the green parts of 6 onions. Okay. Then I'm going to put these in my big bowl. Now I have a pretty good sized bowl here because, you know, we all know if you've ever made sausage balls or a cheese ball, you have to really get in there and go to town. Really go to town because you have to kind of chomp and stir and all that to incorporate. It's not easy like whisk. It's not like a cake batter or a quick bread where you just, you know, stir and look pretty. You have to get in there, and so you need a pretty good sized bowl so that you don't, you know, don't throw ingredients all over the place. Then we're doing a tablespoon of Worcestershire, if you're really Southern. Then I have an entire package, and I'm not doing anything to it, of real crumbled bacon. I've actually got applewood because I thought it sounded kind of good, a little extra flavor. It's a 3-ounce package. You can do a 3-ounce package. You can do the 3-ounce jar, but you want real bacon, not bits. You know the difference? Not the crunchy little ones that look like red flakes. That's not real bacon. You want it to say real, and you do not want to eat that. So if it, you know, pours into there, be sure to fish that out. Okay? Then we have a tablespoon of accent seasoning. You probably don't have accent seasoning. You can completely go buy it. They still make it. If you don't want to use accent, you can do a tablespoon of just regular old table salt. Maybe throw in a little bit of garlic powder if you want. And then I think that's it. Oh my goodness. That's it. Okay. Y'all, I was getting my cream. There's so much that's similar between the cream cheese recipe and the sausage balls recipe that I was getting confused. I was thinking, oh my word, I'm supposed to put cheese in these, but you're not. The cheese is for later. Sharp cheddar. So forget about that. Now, big spoon. We're just gonna, oh, our little toasts are ready. That was good timing. I'm gonna chomp and stir until that is beautifully incorporated. We want there to be bites of onion and bacon and everything. And then when we come back, I'm gonna show you, we're gonna divide these up and roll them in our pecans, but we'll do that when we get back. And then we'll start on our sausage balls that have cheese in them. This is cooking today. Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. If you're just joining us, we are making some of my personal favorite holiday party foods. I've made this beautiful little bowl of these little toasts that I love to use in place of crackers. It's just a sourdough loaf that I've cut into little thin pieces, brushed with olive oil, seasoned them just the littlest bit, and crisped them. And y'all, we've been snacking on them. They're delicious. So I let them bake. We're letting them cool, and now we've just put them in a pretty bowl. We'll store them airtight and, you know, pull them out over maybe a week to 10 days or so, and just use them with all of our dips and good things. And we've made a cheese ball. Those with this cheese ball are just perfection. We've made our cheese ball. So we have our cream cheese and our good real bacon bits, and we've mixed it all together with some seasoning and some onions, and we made a ball, and I divided it in half the best I could. Look, we have a runt. I just kind of eyeballed it, but it doesn't matter. This is the one that you can keep at home, and this is the one you can take to the party. So just divided it in half. It makes a little bit of a mess. I had to take my big ring off. You make balls with your hands and then roll them in our plate of pecan chips, and then put them on sheets of plastic wrap, and then just tie those right up. All the flavors in that are delicious. It's bacony and oniony and creamy and nutty, and it's very savory. That accent or salt, whatever it is that you decide to put in there, is just so good. Delicious. Then these you can refrigerate for a day, 2 days, until it's time to serve them at your party. And then you're going to want to put it on a cute little plate and let it sit at room temperature for a little while before you serve it, because you want to be able to, you know, take a cracker or take one of our little toasts and kind of, you know, spread it. Now we're going to move on to these delicious, so good, these sausage balls, y'all, cream cheese sausage balls. These are in my cookbook as well. They are really good. And we're making this sauce that we're going to dip them in. It's the sauce that really puts them over the top, if you ask me. Now, we have another package of cream cheese. It wouldn't be Christmas without cream cheese. right? I mean, that's what my grocery cart is like. Full, the whole buggy part is like filled with cream cheese and maybe heavy whipping cream for the holiday season. That's when you know it's Christmas. So I have my 8 ounces of cream cheese completely softened to room temperature. Then, you know what, let's do this. I have a cup of shredded, sharp cheddar. It just has more flavor. Why in the world would we want to put mild cheddar in this when we want sharp flavor? We have 1 cup of the baking mix. You know what baking mix is. Baking mix. There's several kinds, kind of like it's like a general all-purpose kind of pancake and baking mix. We have 1 cup of that. And then you have hot breakfast sausage. The whole entire kit and caboodle, right? Yeah. Wait, I say that? Y'all, okay, look, I have to go back to my own, yep, a pound. I had to go back to my own cookbook to make sure I was right on that. Okay, got our whole pound of hot breakfast sausage. And again, I have this pretty room temperature as well because it's got a lot of fat in it. And so if that fat is cold, it's going to make it really hard to kind of break up and incorporate. So again, with the room temperature ingredient. Then we have our green onions again. And we only need about 1/4 cup or so of these. So it's kind of like our sausage balls are a little bit of a yummy nod to our cheese ball with a few extra delicious ingredients and baked, which what happens to these in the oven is just incredible, y'all. They get so crispy, and that sausage and that cheddar, let's be honest, they're greasy. They're greasy as all get out. And that grease cooks that baking mix and melts that cheese, and you get a crust. Oh my goodness, I always burn my mouth on the first sausage ball because I cannot help myself. Okay, so I'm gonna say that's about 1/4 cup. Okay, you can measure that if you'd like. You might need to do a few more of the green onions. You could also use chives if you would like a smaller representation of that little oniony flavor. You know, chives are considerably smaller. Then we washed that big bowl. I washed that giant, heavy. Oh, for goodness sake. You know what? I'll just be honest. When I was putting this black shirt on today, I thought, you know what? I'm going to throw flour on that black shirt on television. And I was like, no. I mean, have I watched my own show? Good night. Okay, so here you go. Don't wear a black shirt. Maybe that should be in the ingredients list in the first bit of the instructions. But you're going to chop and stir and do your best not to make your mess until this is combined. Okay, and what it is it's that cream cheese. We got to really get in there and really, really mix it. Then we're going classic preparation on our sausage balls. This is not rocket science, but there's extra good flavor in here. We are going to take our scoop. I have my metal scoop, and I have a sheet pan lined with parchment paper. You are going to want to use parchment because these are really greasy and they really cook down, and they will stick to your pan. And so parchment makes that grease such an easy cleanup, so you're going to want to definitely do that. So I'm just going to get this really incorporated and start making my little balls here. And then on the top of every single one of them, we're going to do some good fresh, coarse black pepper. It makes them so pretty, and that bite of black pepper is it's just a great bite. You're going to love this. So I'm going to start making balls. We're going to line this. We're going to bake them at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes. And when we come back, we're going to stir up our Jezebel sauce and call it a day. We're going to be ready to party. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. Look at all these fun party foods that we've made today. First, we made these little toasts, and they are just delicious and crispy. They've cooled. They serve as crackers, like delicious homemade, fresh, kind of a crackery bite to serve with our dips. We've got baked dips and all kinds of good things that we've made on here before, but I really love them with this cheese ball that's so oniony and good, y'all. Bacon, and it's savory and salty. So I would serve these with a spreader, a pretty, pretty spreader just stuck right in that cheese ball for people to spread a good bite on our pretty, pretty toast. Look at that. Isn't that so fun? Love it. Then we've made our sausage balls. Y'all, they smell divine. They are so good. We've baked them. We're going to put them around a platter with a little bowl in the center for our dip, which is our Jezebel sauce. And I'm putting it in this beautiful little bowl that Miss Sissy sent to me that matched my platter that she saw on the show before. And then that recipe for the Jezebel sauce is on our website. It's easy as pie. I hope that you will have some great party times, offices and family and whatever it is, some fun gatherings this holiday season. I've got you prepared with some really good recipes. This is Cooking Today.